Atom is my favorite text editor. And when you're developing a WordPress theme, you will have to write a lot of code. And it's always a good idea to have some assistance from the text editor. For example, let's make this smaller. And I'm gonna create a new folder, and you don't have to do this. I'm gonna show you something. Let's create something like my theme, and let's open this in my editor. Then I'm gonna create a new file, and I'm gonna call this one functions.php. This is a really common WordPress file, or a file that your team will require in order to work. And let's create a PHP block. So let's add PHP. And I'm gonna create a function, so let's add function. And you can see that I'm not getting any assistance from the editor. And I'm gonna add my scripts. And then we have to hook this into WordPress. You don't have to worry at the moment what is hook and anything. Let's add action. And I'm gonna add the hook, WP on Q, scripts. And you can see that the editor is not giving me any assistance. Then I add a comma, and then I add my scripts. So for example, let's say that I want to add a library that I found on the internet. So let's add WP on Q script. And then let's add the name, for example, Angular. And then we add get template directory URI. You can see that I'm not receiving any assistance from the editor. So we're gonna install two packages that will help the autocompletion for these functions, and also will faster the development when you are working with your teams. So let's collapse this. And you can install a new package in Atom just by clicking here on install package and then open the installer. If you don't have access to this menu, let's close this. You can click here on Atom and then preference. And then from here you can install the packages. If you're using Sublime Text, you have to install something called the package manager. In Atom, you don't have to install anything. So let's click here on install. And let's make this bigger. And here I'm gonna look for two packages. I'm gonna type WordPress here, and here on packages, click here. And now you can see we're searching for packages with WordPress. And you can see that there are many different results. The one that I really want to install is this one called Autocomplete WordPress Hooks. This is the package that I use in the everyday when I'm working with WordPress. And there is another one called Atom WordPress, is this one. You can see this one is a collection of all WordPress functions for Atom. So let's install this. And you can take a look at the other ones. These are the two that I found that are the powerful and easier to work with. So let's close this and let's open Atom again, just to make sure that everything is installed correctly. And let's open the functions.php and let's create a PHP block. So we have PHP, and I'm gonna make this bigger so you can see better. And let's create a function, my scripts. And let's say that I'm gonna hook this into the hook. So you can see now we have add action. So you can press enter here and you can see that we have this auto completion. You don't have to worry at the moment for this. So the tag, I'm gonna remove this and add single quotes, and we're gonna add WP on Q scripts. So now you can see that the editor is giving me some ideas, and let's use this function. And for example, let's say that I want to add Angular again. Let's add WP on Q script. And now you can see we have all this auto completion. So these are all the parameters that this function takes. At the moment, you don't have to worry for anything. You will learn this when we are working in the course. But let's say that I want to add Angular, and I'm gonna get template. And now you can see we have this auto completion, get template directory URI. And the same goes for registering a menu. So let's add something like function register menu. And let's add action. This will be into the init. And then we have register menu. Yeah, and then we can add WP nav menu. And this will give us all the functions that are related to everything that we are typing. So this is something really cool, and this will save you a lot of times. And these are my favorite extensions or packages for developing WordPress and plugins themes. So there is another one that I want to install. Since WordPress is a PHP CMS, it's a good idea to install a package that will enhance the PHP functions that we have in Atom. This one is called autocomplete PHP, and click here on package again. And is this one, Atom autocomplete PHP. So let's click here on install. And you can see that we have an error here. It's because I don't have PHP installed right here, but you don't have to worry. So let's close this and close it. Let's open Atom again. And from here, let's open the functions.php. And let's say that I want to create an array, so you can add array. And now you can see if I click on the tab key, this will create the variable and then the array. So we can add something like args, and the array is going to be something like post per page. And now you can see we have something like this. Now you can change the value 10. This will display 10 posts from the blog, and something like that. At the moment, you don't have to worry for these functions. The idea is that you install these packages, and believe me, this will save a lot of time when you are working with your WordPress themes and plugins.